if I will talk about the InfoSec train, yeah. So, we established around 2016, and we are the, cyber security, technology training and consultancy company, which provide a wide range of professional training program and certification over here. And I'm pretty much sure many of you are already familiar with us. And if I will talk about, there are some of our trusted clients, our endorsement, and we give you the all the help to get I will say we are focused more on the knowledge rather than only saying that we are focused on the certification. We are focused more that more and more our candidates can learn from our training and training scenarios itself. So that's the one way. Now, if we will talk about today we are going to have a master class for, in short, we can say CYSA, which will give you the idea into what we are going to have in CYSA itself over here. Now, this is the agenda for today. You can just take a quick look into the agenda as well over here. Okay, so now today we will be starting with just the introduction of CYSA. So many of you might not be familiar, or if someone has learn about. So last year's CYSA exam, it got upgraded into the new version, which is the CS0003 itself. Now we will talk about the objective, exam objective, and all. What is the exam duration, everything. Then we will be going ahead and talking about the understanding of cybersecurity essential. We'll be talking about the threat landscape analysis, and also we'll be talking about the best practices for cybersecurity itself. We'll be talking about the how you can prepare for the exam, and we'll be talking about the resources, question and answer series. All these things we are going to talk about over here. Now, if this is clear, we will be just moving on to the next, and we'll be just I'm eager to start with the today's webinar. And as you can see, that today's webinar is focused on the your CYSA itself, right? Again, guys, I will ask that as it is a public webinar, we can see around 50 people are here. So, if you want to say something, you just type it on the chat box. I will try to read it on time, and so that it cause a less of a disruption. Towards the end, I will give everyone the time for go for the questions and answers. Okay, before closing the recording. After closing the recording, I will give you the time to ask me Q&As. So again, so let's just start with the CYSA. So many of you who will be familiar, this is now when we are talking about the CYSA Plus, it is the certification which is provided by the your vendor CompTIA over here. Now, when we are talking about the CompTIA, it focuses on the cyber security and different IT certifications itself, which is going to help people to go and learn about the IT. So if you have seen the different certifications from the CompTIA itself, you will be very much familiar that what they do is they try to provide you different certification. Even there are very basics like IT basics, A plus, where you'll be talking about the your different when you'll be talking about A plus, what is the memory, RAM, physical hardware, network, all the different type of the your resources they are usually talking about as well. Now, when we talk about the cybersecurity analyst certificate, which is CYSA plus certification over here, it is going to focus on the cybersecurity's technical and hands-on aspect. It will be talking about what are the security threat, what is the secure, cybersecurity or secure network architecture, how it should be. It will be talking about the risk management. It will be talking about the log analysis. It will be talking about the configuration assessment and multiple other things as well. So when we'll be jumping over here and we will be discussing about all these scenarios all at once. So what will happen is you will find out the CYSA certification is going to be more like an umbrella, which is going to cover a lot of things. It will be talking about the VAPT. It will be talking about your network security architecture. It will talk about the SIM solution. It will be talking about the your incident response team. It will be talking about all different kind of these scenarios certification over here. That's why if I would say on the and remember that when we are talking about the CYSA plus, I will be categorizing it as a blue team certification. Okay, so if I have to classify it, I will be classifying it more of a blue team certification, which is going to give you the idea how to defend your network, your architecture, and all. So it will be having a lot of things. It will be covering a bit of the forensics as well. It will be covering a bit of the SIM solution, SOC solution. So it will be talking about the defensive side of a security a lot of a time itself. Now, when we talk about this particular CYSA plus, you will be, who can go for this CYSA plus? People who are working as a IT security analyst, vulnerability analyst, threat intelligence analyst, and anyone who is trying to get a better understanding of the concept involved in conducting the cybersecurity analysis. Now, thing is, remember, because I have seen many people who just go ahead and want to do some certification. Sometimes people say that anyone can go ahead and do the CYSA plus, right? And trust me, not anyone. Okay, first of all, you need to have the knowledge onto the things like your um, about the IT, cybersecurity. This is not the basic cybersecurity course, it is intermediate. So I would suggest before jumping into the CYSA, at least you have either you are working as a very basic profile on the cybersecurity, you should be familiar with all the cybersecurity terminology. And for the people who are not familiar with the cybersecurity terminology, first I would suggest they should go for the another CompTIA certificate examination, which is called as the Security Plus, right? If you have the basic knowledge, the terminologies of network security, what is segmentation, what is forensic and all, what is the false positive, false negative, all these basic terminologies are clear, then you can go ahead and jump into the CYSA plus. Okay, it is not a basic, it is going to be an intermediate level of the certification which you will be pursuing over there. Okay, so this thing should be very clear because multiple time people come to me and they say that someone suggested them that they can also jump into the CYSA plus, although they don't have any basic knowledge of the cyber security over there. So that's I would say kind of wrong as well, right? So you should be very much clear that what is going to be the part over here and what is going to be covered at that particular point of time. Now, in this one, what actually happen is earlier in the older version of your CYSA, there used to be your 5 domain. This time they have more organized it into the 4 domains, starting with the your security operation. Then there is going to be the vulnerability management. Then there is going to be the incident response management. And then there is going to be the reporting and communication over there. So security operation will be talking about a lot of the things like, it will be talking about your how the VATT should be done and how the your different explaining the concept of the system network architecture, indicator of malicious activities, talking about the threat intelligence, threat hunting, and talking about the vulnerability scanning method, vulnerability assessment tools, how you can mitigate the attack. All these kind of things are going to be the part which they will be covering over there, and means in the security operation, giving you the idea. And then onto that concept of the vulnerability scanning and all, you'll be having the domain number 2, which will be talking about your software vulnerabilities, how you are going to go ahead and how you'll be responding, handling, and managing the vulnerabilities over there, how you'll be analyzing the data and prioritizing the vulnerability. So all that is going to be into the part of the vulnerability management. Then third domain is going to be the incident response management, where you will be talking about the concept related to the attack methodology framework, like MITRE framework and all. It will be talking about the diamond shape. There is going to be the discussion on the all these your different frameworks. It will be talking about the what is incident response activity, what is post incident response activity. That will be the domain 3. And domain 4 is going to be the your reporting and communication, which will be explaining the importance of vulnerability management reporting and communication, importance of incident response reporting and communication. All those things will be the part over here that is going to be over these particular scenarios over here, right? And some of the terminologies also they updated. Like, I'm just giving you the part. Like many of the time we keep hearing this term, and which is very common term, man in the middle attack, right? So in the newer version, what they have done, they have updated this and they are calling it what, on path attack. Okay, this is just few things I'm just highlighting over here, right? That these kind of a changes you might find over there. So earlier, what we used to call something like demilitarized zone, which still I'm utilizing in many of my consultancies and all. So they will be calling it here very standard name, screened subnet. Okay, so these kind of changes you will be finding. Like one domain they have already reduced from 5. This time there are only 4 domain that you will be seeing over here. So we used to have these, means in security operation they have combined security operation and software and system 2 domain over this single one. Okay, so this is the last year that the update that has taken place. This is all in that particular scenario over here. Okay, so once we understand the exam domain over here, I'm just going to give you a quick idea into the exam as well. It will be pretty much similar if anyone has taken Security Plus or any other exam. It will be very similar to that. That you will be jumping into the exam, and exam detail, exam name is going to be CYSA, or which code is going to be the CS0003. It is going to be the multiple choice and performance based question. So that is going to be both. And now, if anyone has given the performance based question, they will be familiar. Okay, what is happening actually multiple time, what happens is people got worried with the performance based question. So trust me, it is not on the level of your OSCP where you have to go and solve a complete machine over here. So it will be bit different here. What you have to do is, there will be simple questions. Like they will give you an architecture and they will ask you that after this machine, or previous to this machine, or in this network, where you will place a firewall, where you will place an IDS or IPS. So these kind of a question. So you have to drag and drop things here and there. Maybe match the following kind of a thing. So whenever you see this thing, performance based question, do not got worried or scared that you have to solve a complete machine, CTF kind of a challenge. No CTF kind of a challenge. Match the following definition. Some diagram will be there. You might have to run a simple command like CMD and like your what is the IP address and which IP address is affected, which is not affected. There might be sometime locks. It might means you will click on a machine, it will show you the logs of that machine, and then on a basis of the logs, you will be asked multiple questions. That is going to be over there. And then to pass this exam, there is also going to be the multiple choice question. So performance based question will be something which can scare few people, but don't worry. Okay, if you will save them for later and then again check for them. So what you can do is you can later solve this one. Multiple choices question are going to be there, which is going to be uh, personally for me those were very easy at that time. And you can increase your score over here, as you will see passing score is bit on a higher side. Okay, so out of on the scale of 100 to 900, you have to score somewhere around 750, and you have a very ample amount of time, which is going to be 165 minutes. Okay, which I would say a very ample amount of time over here. And why I discuss this thing is reason being many people they got scared at the whenever they hear these terms like multiple choice and performance based, they got scared that what is going to be asked. We can't go for this question, this kind of exam. You can go. Don't worry. These things, if you have practiced well, these things are going to be the very very easy at that point of time. So don't worry about this, and just if you practice well, you will be finding this is going to be the one of the very easiest thing that you have. done over here, right? Now, what we will do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to start now for the day with the more of the content and the topics over here. So we'll be starting with the next part, which is going to be the understanding of cybersecurity essential. Okay, today we will be just understanding from a basic perspective so that everyone from the different background and all can understand this thing. So in 1961 around this concept was given over here for the cybersecurity, which was being called a CIA, and now it is called as the CIA Triad. Okay, and I would say last few days I was getting some strange dreams. So I will be utilizing that dream to explain the concept of your CIA triad over here. Okay. So now what we will do, we will be talking about the your CIA over here. Now, so in CIA, C stand for your confidentiality, I for integrity, and A for availability. So we will explore the fundamental principle of cybersecurity, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which is usually referred to as the CIA triad. So understanding these principle is very important for protecting your information and making sure that it can be trusted by everyone. Nowadays, privacy is, I think, one of the things that everyone is concerned about. So if I'm sharing my data with anyone, I want to make sure that my data is there and my data is being used in the way that it was supposed to be used. Okay, no one has tampered with it or anything, and that's why this basic thing is very important. So what we will do, this is the fundamental model of cybersecurity, and it is going to represent the three core objective what we need to achieve to make sure that overall security of your information system and data is intact. So if we will be breaking down each one of them. So when we talk about the first part, confidentiality. So this is a principle which is making sure that only an authorized user they can access and view your sensitive information. Okay. So if I will go very technically, okay, let me just remove the technicality from this. So I will take an example. I was telling you I was getting very strange dreams nowadays. Okay, all of them was related to cookies. So let me use that dream. So let's just say that because I was getting those dream of cookies. So let's say that you have a very secret recipe in the world. So how you can make a very best cookies in the world, right? So confidentiality will be what? Keeping that recipe locked away in a recipe box with the complex combination. So you'll be having all the complex combination in that box and keeping it away. Like, you might have heard Coca-Cola has a secret recipe and everything, right? So when we talk about this, so you are locking that recipe away with the complex combination lock, and only authorized people who, those who deserve those cookie, only they can access it. Just like, Coca-Cola has two people who can access that recipe and they know that code of that recipe. So, they are also never allowed to travel in the same plane. Okay, this is what we have heard. So same confidentiality it is there. So what is that? So what could be our confidential data like financial records or trade secret? So confidentiality it measures like the access, control, and data encryption safeguard, of this information. So when we talk about the confidentiality, so keeping that thing secret. This is what we were talking about. Now, when we talk about the integrity, so this is the principle which is making sure that the data it remain accurate and unaltered over here. So why I'm saying this thing, very simple example in all my session, I always say that might be you guys and you guys are chatting with your boss, for example, and let's say because this was the March final going on, one of the quarter was ending. So what is happening? You want to message your boss that I want an increment, and instead of that, someone changed that message to something like no, I don't want increment this year, right? So you were sending to your boss, hi boss, I want an increment, and the message received by the boss is, hi, I don't want the increment. So what happened? Someone has changed the your message in between, right? So same thing. This is the principle which is making sure that the data is accurate and it is not altered by anyone in between. This means protecting your data from any unauthorized modification or destruction. So integrity is making sure that you can trust the information that you are working with as well. So security measures, what we use over here is like checksum, digital signature, which is helping us to maintain the data integrity over there. And as I was telling you, that cookie example. So again, let's just go with the cookie example over here. So what happened is, so you were having the confidentiality was that recipe of cookie, I have logged it away. Now I start baking those cookie, and someone they snuck in and they replace the, let's say I want a chocolate cookies. So they replace the chocolate with the raisins or nuts, right? So that's a violation of the integrity. So integrity makes sure that my cookies remain exactly as I wanted without any sneaky substitution. Same goes for the integration as well, that my data should remain exactly as I intended and without any sneaky substitution. Just the example I was giving, that boss, I don't want an increment this year. It is very similar to that only, right? And then now you have baked those cookies, you have everything, and still someone replaced that your chocolates with the raisin and nuts. So that's the breach of integrity over there. Now, availability, if we will talk about. So, availability, this principle, it is going to emphasize that only authorized user, they can access the information. Okay. So, only the authorized user, they can go ahead and access the information over there, and all the system that is there, that is available to them. So, this is going to make sure that authorized user can access information and system whenever they need. Downtime due to the outage or cyber attack disrupts, it is going to disrupt the availability over there. So what we will use, system redundancy, backups, disaster recovery plan, they will make sure that our information is intact. So, if again, I will be making sure, okay, I will again compare it to the cookies. So what will happen? Let's say that you bake the cookies and everything. So finally, it is time to enjoy your delicious cookies, but you open the cookie jar and it's empty. So what is that? That is lack of availability, right? So availability is making sure that your cookies are there whenever you need them and not mysteriously missing. Okay, so that is going to be the comparison. So availability is whenever I want to eat those cookies, they should be available. It should not happen that my sibling came, they steal the cookies. It should not happen, right? So any unexpected unavailability should not be in there by the attack or the cybersecurity attack. Very simple example, multiple time you might have seen, there is a website which is down by what, let's say that you want to do the shopping on amazon.com, right? And you find out you are an authorized person, you have the account on Amazon, you found out that Amazon.com is not available. It is not even in there. So what is happening? That means simply that we are having the availability issue and how we can improve it. Things in the past, what we have learned. Okay, if moving ahead, I was about to give you the example of WannaCry ransomware, okay, which affected our our IT industry a lot at that time. It taught us that there should be the proper backups. You should be prepared for the we will talk about the availability. You should be having the backups. You should be having disaster recovery plans over there. You should be having some time. If Amazon is down in that case, multiple time. A very simple example, whenever there is a big sale, for example, you want to go ahead and in that sale, there was a sale going on into the Amazon and you are getting iPhone 15 Pro at $399. Now, I am pretty much sure most of the people will be interested in this deal. They want to get their hands on the iPhone 15 Pro into the $399 only. So when they will try to reach out, it might be impacting the Amazon's availability, that can cause that you are getting the bad bad server, or server got interrupted, bad request, different kind of the errors that you might get. Now, to this thing, you can improve the system redundancy on such specific days itself. So these things are going to be the three basic security pillars of cyber security. So I hope this is more clear at this particular point of time. Okay, and now because we are going to go ahead and we are going to move into the different topic. That's why I'm saying this. After CIA tried, now what we will do, we will be talking about another of the very basic cybersecurity functions over here. So that would be your different type of security control. Now, one thing is I was talking about the attack. Attack could be different kind of thing. Someone find a vulnerability, they attack your website is down. I was talking about the availability is impact. And of the n number of things can happen. Malware can in fact impact your laptop, your network, anything. Now, for those things to prevent those things from happening, what we do, we deploy something which we call the security controls over there. Okay. Now these security controls, if we will talk about them, they are, there are the different families and the categories of your controls. And they can be actually described according to their goal or their function type as well. Like what kind of function they are, going to go ahead and perform and everything. So usually when we say the type of security control, three types we talk about: physical security control, technical security control, and administrative security controls over there. Three type of the control, generally you'll be finding over there. And, you know, there are CIS control and different ones. There are three kind of the controls which is going to be defined most of the time. Now, these three are further you have seen, because what will happen, even if you will be going for the standard book, okay, even if you will be going for a very standard CompTIA book, they will be just going line by line, and they usually sometimes miss this point and make it bit confusing to understand these concepts. And people, they got confused sometimes. So that's why I have used this diagram, because I personally love this diagram, how they have defined this thing. So here you will see there is going to be the three kind of the your controls. Category is three control. First is going to be physical control. Second is going to be your technical control. And third is going to be the administrative control over there. Now, when we will talk about the physical control, based on their function, they will be of three type: preventive, detective, and corrective. Right? And these are the examples that you are seeing. Now, when we are talking about the physical control over here, so as name is clearly mentioning it over here. Okay, so for physical security, you will be finding things like your fences, gates, locks, all these kind of a thing. Now, what kind of the function they are performing? If they are preventive, right? So preventive will be like your they want to prevent something. So just like at your doors, you apply the locks. So locks is there. So that is the preventive kind of the control. So if someone try to always, there is one saying which my mom also used to say a lot, that when we talk, locks are for the honest people. That if sometime they just get sway away, or they have this, sometimes they think that okay, let's just do something like break into the someone's house, so it can change their mind. If that is, if a thief is going, has decided that he is going to steal, a dishonest person is always going to break that lock, right? So when we are talking about the preventive things over here, so in the preventive controls, there are going to be the fences, gates, locks in the physical control. In detective one, so what happen is that you have a security control room. People are sitting there, and there's through the surveillance camera, CCTV, they will find out that someone is trying to break in into your organization. That is detective. That it is detecting someone is trying to go ahead and break the lock of your organization. And then corrective is, if I will say in the same example, if I will have something like a security guard, right? then security guard will be rushing to that place and making sure that to capture those people, or do away those people over there. So that is going to be the your different type of your corrective control. So corrective control are repairing the physical damage, reissue the your access card. All these things are going to be the corrective control. Now we'll be going for the technical controls over there. So technical control are the control which is implemented as the system. Okay, so they are hardware, software, or the firmware. Okay, for example, your firewalls, IPS, IDS, all these things. So under the preventive, they will be firewall, IPS, multi-factor authentication, antiviruses. Under detective control, IPS is intrusion prevention system, IDS is intrusion detection system, and honeypots that you can place as the detective control. And under the corrective control, you will be going with the vulnerability patching, rebooting a system, quarantine a virus. All these kind of a thing will be your corrective control. Then there is going to be the administrative control, hiring and technician termination policies. So administrative are going to be those which will be helping your management team, your policy team to take some actions, take some responses. So if you will talk about this control, gives you the oversight of the information security, okay, and it will be usually you will see run by the people rather than the system. So if we will talk about administrative control, so it is going to be your hiring and termination policies, separation of duty policies, data classification policies. All these are preventive one. Detective one are going to be your reviewing the access right, auditing log and unauthorized changes that is there. That is detective. And corrective is the things like having an incident response plan, implementing a business continuity plan. All these are going to be your resources over there which you will be going ahead with. Okay, so these are the different type of security control. Apart from this, you might see multiple other categories of your control as well. So like, we can have technical, operational, managerial. Okay, even there is going to be the preventive. Okay, sorry, preventive, detective, corrective is there. With that, one more will be there, which will be called your compensating, right? So compensating is something like first line of defense is going to, I would say, first line of defense is got breach. Then we have the second line of defense, and that is going to be the compensating. If one is down, so another let's say it's for any reason, I can't use the locks. So, you know, uh, what I can use instead of that. So that is called your compensating control over here. Okay. Now, the naming usually physical control is, Shivji asked about this question, so I'm saying going to say that physical control is also known as parameter security. I'll say very standard name is physical control. The purpose that they are being used that could be called your parameter security. Okay, so this was the your types of security control. Now, let's just go ahead and we will be talking about the some network security fundamentals. Now, network security in itself is going to be a very, very huge, I would say, concept itself, right? So it will be taking hours to complete that. But what is the general idea behind the network security fundamentals? We will talk about that. So we will be just breaking down the network security fundamentals. Okay, we'll break down the basics of this network security. It is going to be things like the network segmentation, vulnerability scanning, and patch management over there. Because these practice, they are very important or vital for identifying and mitigating the security weakness within your network infrastructure. So when we talk about the cyber security network, if you'll ask my personal opinion, I would say you should have the knowledge about the network. So your network basics should be right on par. because most of the time this is going to be the building block for your network infrastructure. So if I have to prevent something, so where I need to place the firewall, where I need to place DMG, all these kind of things are going to be very crucial, to be honest. So that's why I'm saying that in this realm of your cybersecurity, network security fundamental, they are going to be the building block for securing your network. So, because these things, they are going to have strategies and practices to safeguard your network device, your data, and overall data network functionality. So, a very simple example, if I'm saying you have to protect your data. So, what is going to be over there? If this is my database, most of the cases, this database is going to be the part of a network. So different devices is going to be connect, or there is going to be either it will be a network attached storage, okay, or a storage area network that you have created. Now again, this will be the network where it is attached, it will be access, whom you should give access, how they should get access. All this is going to be the part of your network security. So that's why this is a very important to understand on the cybersecurity realm, the concept of your your network security. Because if you have to, protect your network security, you have to protect your, or you need to understand the basics of cybersecurity. Now, very first thing is network segmentation, right? Now, where network segmentation is helping you with the network security. So you might have heard a term, which is called your control your blast radius. Okay. Now you must be thinking why I'm talking about something like blast radius. Okay. So as we will be going ahead, you'll be understanding this concept over here. So if we talk about the network segmentation, imagine dividing your network into smaller network, right? Which will be more secure zones. So what is happening? Okay, here, for example, this network is having the range of 10.0.0 slash 16, right? Now, this is my network range. So what we usually try to do is we divide it into the smaller subnets, right? So one virtual network will be now divided into the multiple subnet. For example, if this is subnet 0, this is subnet 1, this is subnet 2, right? So here, when we are talking about this thing, so with this subnet 0, what is going to happen? You will be dividing it into the further into the smaller network, like 10.10 dot 0.0 slash 24, right? I create a very, in here you were having 65536 hosts. Here now what you can have is 256 hosts. Now again, S1, I will give this network a range 10.10.1.0 slash 24. Now another subnet I created, which is going to be the 10.10.2.0 slash 24, like this. Okay. So what we are going over here is we are just making a very smaller sections of your network that is going to be over there. Now, what it will help, so what is happening over here is when you are doing this thing, it is creating more secure zone. So it is kind of limiting the potential damage of breach if it happen in one zone, and it is preventing it from spreading into the whole network. Okay. So like, here, if this was the one zone where I am having like 30 systems, okay, here I am having the 50 system. This I have given into the front desk HR, all those system I have keep into this first subnet. Here I have keep my, you know, finance, CA, all those people. And here I was having the 150 people working in the IT, testing, deployment, and all. Now, what happened is if one of the people who just got infected into the HR or front desk team, so that infection will be spreading into this 30 network, and I can kind of put a block, or I can kind of quarantine this particular network so that it does not spread across. So what I'm doing, that thing that I was using, the term, I'm controlling its blast radius. Okay, blast radius, the term that originate from movies. If you have seen, if a bomb goes off, it kind of affect the neighborhood area as well. So windows getting shattered and all, nails and sharpeners, they are going to a specific range. So what is happening? Same, if any device inside this network is affected, so I can put simple rules, firewall and all, and I can just simply block it off, right? So that the malware, it should not spread beyond this particular network. So that's why we are performing the network segmentation over there. So we are doing that, and firewall and VLANs are commonly used tool for the segmentations, if you have seen. So the people who have completed Security Plus, if you guys, so you will remember that there used to be a concept where you will be talking about the um, triple homed architecture, DMG, screened subnet architecture. So using the firewall, you are dividing your network as well. So same, you can go ahead and create more of the segmentations over here. Now, when we talk about the next thing, next is going to be your vulnerability scanning and going to be your patch management, two things. So vulnerability scanning. So, okay, again, because from last few days, I'm also going to, I was remembering when I used to play the Clash of Clans. So, creating the castles, destroying them. So if I will talk about the network security or cyber security right now, so think your network as a castle. Okay. Now, vulnerabilities are going to be like the cracks in the walls. So, regular vulnerability scan, what is doing? They are helping you to identify these weakness that you have into your software, you have into your system, in your network, that is going to be in there. So, you will be doing and finding out that, okay, this version of firewall should not be used, or recently they have found this vulnerability in here. Maybe you might found you are doing the simple, you are trying to go ahead and check how many hosts are connected to your network. You find out there is one additional host that is going to be connected over there. If there is going to be the one additional host, you will find out, okay, or you find one additional access point, okay, wireless access point, how it is, reached there, how it is the part of our network. So you will investigate. So vulnerability scanning, host scanning, that will help you to identify that, okay, there is an unapproved wireless, access point going on, and we'll be calling it a rogue access point, right? So that is something that you can perform with this one. Now, there is going to be the patch management. Once you have identified the vulnerabilities, weaknesses, what you have to do, patch management, which means you will be applying security update patches, which will fix these vulnerability and strengthen your defenses over there. So these are going to be in the network security fundamentals. Not only this, if I will talk about, because in the network you'll be utilizing something like firewall and all, which later on you can use for something like the access control. So not everyone, they deserve. If I was talking about the network is going to be your castle, right? So network is my castle. So not everyone, they deserve a free reign to my castle, right? So access control is going to determine who can specifically access my network resources and what action they can perform over there. So user authentication, verifying user identity, and authorization, which is defining access permission, are going to be very crucial aspect of your access control. So the examples, they will be like, password, multi-factor authentication, and access control list. So that all you need to go, apply into your network. Who can, if I'm having, let's say I was giving you the example of a database. So if my company is having employee 1500 employee, not all 1500 can go and access this net database, which is part of my network. You will be putting some controls over there, right? So like, a person who joined with the name CYSA is telling like RBAC and ABAC. Okay, role-based access control, attribute-based access control. So you can go ahead and you can implement these controls over there, who can access, and if they can access, what they can do with my data. Can they modify it? No. Can they modify, let's say the two users were there. So one can modify my data, one cannot modify my data. So that will be the access control that you will be implementing. And because we are talking about the defensive side of security, one very important thing, network traffic monitoring. This is going to play a very important part over. So if I was talking about the network traffic monitoring over here, so because this is the defensive side, so what kind of traffic is going through my network, keeping an eye on my network traffic is very important. This will involve monitoring the data flow through my network. So if there is any suspicious activity, potential attack is going on, through the help of firewall intrusion detection system, we can analyze traffic pattern and flag the anomalies. So if you have used the tools like, for network packet analysis, we have something like Wireshark, Network Miner, okay, all these kind of tools over there. So we have all these kind of tools in between over there. Now, with that, what else we have is, if you have used something like the your snort, right? So free IDS tool, okay, snort, or your open IDS, different Geek, Bro, okay, all these different tools you have used. So those were what your IPS tools, firewall tools. So all these are keeping an eye onto your network, the traffic packet. If you have to inspect packet, if someone has sent a malicious packet to your network. So all this is going to be the part of your network traffic monitoring. So the two more pointing over here is access control and network traffic monitoring that you need to perform over there. So I will give you an analogy to tie all of it together. So like we were talking about, the imagine your network is a high security building. Segmentation is going to create separate department within that building. Access control, it is going to determine who has access to the each department and what they can do inside. Now vulnerability scanning is going to be like, you're regularly inspecting the building for weak point, and patch management is like repairing those weaknesses. Finally, network traffic monitoring is like having security camera to keep an eye on the activity within the building over here, right? So by implementing all these network security fundamental, you can significantly reduce the risk of all unauthorized access, data breaches, and other cyber attacks. Remember, so, a secure network is the foundation of a secure organization over here, right? So these are the few things that we were talking about over here. And after this, network security fundamentals, we will be moving into the, I know I have taken a bit extra time on the network security fundamental because network security fundamental is very basic of the cybersecurity. Next thing is going to be your incident response over there. Now, in incident response, many of you might have heard about it, might have, and some of you might be working as a part of incident response team. Let me tell you, if someone is also planning to go for the incident response team, very first thing I always tell all, I always told my all candidates is, first thing is, this incident response is going to be a 24/7 job. Okay, why? Because incident can happen anytime and you have to respond to them. You can't say no to them. Okay, that is going to be a requirement. Because if you, I remember a very specific time period when we used to have, there was the one of the vulnerabilities in the Apache 2 years back. Remember? Log4j, right? So what was the timing of that Log4j? Okay, if you remember it correctly, Log4j, it arrived somewhere, and it is very important part. Why I ask you this question? Because one of the thing is you have to keep yourself updated with the cybersecurity, plate newses and all that, what is going on in the current scenario. Okay, so it was, yes, Smith gives a good time. Log4j arrive around December 21, which is usually you have seen in our IT industry. The last few days are the days of the holidays, right? Many of you have planned that thing. Even I have planned the time away as you know, the long weekends and the long holidays are starting, the Christmas, Thanksgiving, everything is going on at that time. So almost the last month, last few days are, for the holidays. And many of my friends and known who is working the incident response, they were on the same boat. So if you remember around December 21, that holiday period was about to start and Log4j arrived. So you can't simply say that, okay, we are not going to do it, we will do it after the holiday. So if you are the part of incident response team, you have to respond and you have to act on it. So even that was my goal as well, that before the holiday season start, we have to patch whole thing up. Okay, so when we talk about the incident response, it is a very important step which is involved in responding to the cyber security. So it includes everything from detection to containment to eradication, recovery, your reporting, all the things, all the crucial process for minimizing the damage and preventing the future attacks are going to be the part of this. Now, when we talk about this, this is actually a multi-step plan for battling all these cybersecurity attacks. So imagine this, that you wake up one morning and you find that your computer is acting strangely. Files are missing, strange messages are popping up, and everything seems off. So you have likely just become a victim of cyber attack, but fear not, this is where the incident response just comes in. So incident response is a well rehearsed process, I would say. And not every day what you rehearse is going to be in the, final exam as well. So sometime, you rehearse or you practice for one question in the exam and it, there is suddenly an out of syllabus question, right? What we used to call. Okay. But, mostly we will say that incident response is a very well rehearsed program that goes on into every organization over there. So when we talk about this, so organization, they follow whenever they feel that there is a security breach. So they will be following a very specific set of steps, right? So they will be having a multi-step plan to identify, to contain, to eradicate, and to recover from, and even learn from that incident to prevent the future attack. So how these key phases they work, so we will talk about them. We will have a quick breakdown of these steps. So very first is going to be your preparation. So this is like putting your, okay, so if you have seen, I was very fascinated by the wars of old time, like 11th centuries, watching the movies like Troy, Greeks, all these things. So every time when we used to see even the older your when we were kid, there used to be like shows on Maharana Pratap, on the Mahabharata and all. So what they used to do before going into the battle, they put on some armor, right? And I was always strangely looked at what that thing is, how it will be protecting them, right? Same thing. This preparation is very similar to that. That before going into the battle, you are putting up your cyber armor this time, okay? Before you go into the cyber battle, so it is going to involve having a documented incident response plan, a team that is trained to handle such situation, and even necessary tools that is for the investigation and recovery. So when in proper CYSA, if you guys will be interested in joining the CYSA course, so there we will talk about bit more in depth about the preparation phase, where we'll be talking about that there is going to be a jump kit, a people should be trained for this thing, the document should be ready already, like for example, if there is going kind of a malware attack, you should be having the documentation ready. So you should be having, a documented incident response plan, team, everything, who will be calling whom, and everything will be prepared in this situation. Then there is going to be the detection and the analysis phase that is going to be over there. So here, this phase, detection and analysis. In this phase, you will identify that suspicious activity. If my system was acting strangely, why it was doing that, right? You will analyze what is the nature of that attack, at which level, what it was, trying to do, what it was trying to get from my system, my PC. So you will be looking for that as well in the detection and analysis phase over there. Now, this is where you will be identifying all the suspicious activity, like the flickering lights and strange noise in your dark house, right? So this is usually happen when you go, or you have seen any horror movie. You are in a dark house, suddenly lights will start flickering, strange noises will be coming. So it is very similar to that. That why these are coming, right? You will be going into that direction. So this is the phase that is going to involve security tools and procedure to detect the different anomalies and analyze the what kind of attack, what is the nature of attack, what they want to do over here. Then these three phases is combined by the NIST standard, okay, of incident response. So here, if you will see, there is going to be the first containment. Containment is I have to take some quick action, like first aid. If there is an accident, first thing is first aid. So quick action is going to be very important. So containment is that quick action. So this phase is trying to aim to stop the attack in its, and then it will try to stop it and track it to prevent it from any further damage, that from where it is coming, and try to stop that attack from doing any further damage. Now, this is the technique what you will be using. So if I found out my system is infected, I will try to detach my that particular system or laptop. If you find the specific system which is infected, remove it from the network. You will try to reset the password. You will be trying to contain that threat. That is the whole thing containment is all about. Then eradication. So okay, the system I've already found out which has the malware. It now is time to evict that, eviction notice you need to give to that particular unwanted visitor. This phase is going to involve removing the malware, patching vulnerabilities, making sure threat is completely eliminated, and think this kind of a thing as sweeping the house to make sure no kind of, if there was dust or anything in your house, okay, nothing left in your house anymore. And then if there is the third thing, that is recovery. So after the whole thing is removed from your system, it's time for us to rebuild, right? So this phase is going to focus on restoring all the affected system and data from the backup. And it is like, like I was saying, if your house, or at any house or office is affected by, I would say, fire or anything, it is like, getting your office back to the normal, right? So it is that whole thing. So containment, eradication, and recovery, three phases are going to be over there. Then last thing is going to be the post-incident activity. And in my all session, I always say that this is one of the most important step of incident response, where any organization can improve themselves and excel themselves. But also, sadly, this is the most ignored phase of incident response as well. So this is the phase, this is that is ignored mostly by the people as well, because this means you have to do a lot of meeting, right? So in simple term, post incident activities, and I always also say that life is too short to learn from your own mistakes, so try to learn from the others mistakes as well. So here, this is the case post incident activity, where we don't have to forget that we have to learn from the experience. This phase is going to involve investigating how the attack it happened, identify the weakness in my defense, and updating my incident response plan to prevent similar kind of attack in the future. So think of this as reviewing your fire safety protocol to prevent any future mishap into your office, right? That kind of a thing. So if you follow a well-defined incident response plan, organization they can minimize the damage which is caused by the cyber attack and make sure the faster recovery is going to be over there. Remember, incident response is always going to be a team effort. So you will be having a plan tailored, with the trained personnel and tools as well. That is going to be over there. And again, like guys, I was saying, CYSA course is going to be very vast. Okay. And right now, I'm not showing you any practical or anything. But when we will be on the CYSA plus course, we'll be performing the bit of the VAs, and there is going to be the how to go and work with the threat intelligence, and we'll be seeing into the some of the sim tools as well, a quick overview. So a lot of the practical session are going to be over there. So right now, as it is just an overview, we are just going through the some of the your theoretical concepts over there, right? Now, this was the incident response plan, and I hope till now everyone is getting my point whatever I have discussed. Okay. Now let's just go ahead, and now we will talk about the another point, which is security awareness and training. Means a simple thing I would say, if we are talking about the our high security castle, right? My organization is my high security castle. Security awareness and training is like educating everyone in there. Like if it is a knights, your fighters, your cooks, all of them, you will be training them that if there is a potential attack, how you can keep the castle safe, right? So if you have you have learned about the army as well. So in the army as well, there are different people like cooks, drivers, different peoples as well. Now everyone taught that how they can fight and all, right? Even in case of any attack, they will be also utilizing their weapons and they will be going to fight as well. So it is very similar to that. Now, here it is a complete life cycle that I have designed over here, what you can do. And apart from all this thing, I would love to go with the one more thing, which will be discussing different concept as well. First of all, if I will say that why this security awareness and training is important. Okay. So if I have to categorize the reason why this is important, I would simply say that reason that why this is important is first of all human error. Okay. Human errors. Now, human error are major part or major contributor of your cyber attack. Okay. Uh, why it happened? Most of you might have received an a specific phishing mails like you won a cash, a lottery, click on this link, your pre-approved loan. Many of you might have clicked on that one. So when we are talking about the human errors, so those kind of a silly mistakes or common mistakes by the people can result into the attack. That's why I'm saying when we talk about the human error, it is major contributor to the cyber attack. Training, it can significantly reduce this risk. So, if you will train your employees, they will be reducing this risk. And second thing, empowered employees. Okay, empowered employee. So when we talk about the empowered employees, a security aware workforce can identify a lot of suspicious activity. They will be not falling for those phishing scams, and they will become the first line of your defense in the organization. And you will be, just all in over, you will be encouraging a stronger security culture, which will be after training. People will be more aware about the cyber security in your organization, and everyone will be feeling responsible for protecting the information and system over there. Now, after you will train all of your employees. So if some of you people who are not that much aware about the cybersecurity, if you have joined this session, you will start understanding some terminology of the cybersecurity. Now you will be start understanding cybersecurity threat. What could be threat? So it could be like phishing mails, malware, social engineering tricks. In trainings, we generally discuss about those kind of a things, and which will be improving the your team's understanding of the threats. They will have, like, you can have a session of safe password, like how you can keep your password safe, what kind of password you should use. So it will make their safe password habits over there strong password, good password. Then there is going to be the data security best practices. So employee, they are going to be trained on how they can handle the sensitive data security, and how they can avoid any accidental leaks. Then they can spot social engineering attacks as well, right? That is also a kind of a benefit that is going to be over there. And also they can go ahead and report all the security, suspicious activity that is there. So all this is going to be the part which will be used at the multiple time. Now, how to deliver a very uh, effective cyber security training or awareness to your organization. So what you can do, any, because in organization not everyone is going to be very technical. So make sure that there is a variety. So you will be using different method, like online modules, sometimes interactive workshop, sometimes simulation as well, like fire drill we have in our organization. So same kind of the variety you should be using in training. At regular interval, you will give them the training. You will give them sometime. Let's okay. Uh, there is concept of tailored content. So what happen is, okay, your organization do the same practice where you might receive an email from your HR or anyone saying that this month we are giving you a bonus as the Amazon voucher. Go here. This is the Amazon voucher, and to redeem this voucher, click on this link. And when you click on that link, you found out it was a phishing mail sent by your internal, training department to see how many people will fail in that training. And once they fail in that training, you have been given a very specific tailored content on, phishing emails and all. So, do you guys have that kind of a practice? Like, I can say it is more of a phishing simulation that happen, right? So yes, this do happen. So properly you need to train your employees. Okay. Now, if we talked about awareness training, you will see you have to go ahead, and training life cycle is something like you will plan and design the content, you develop the content, do the delivery, you get the evaluation and feedback, ongoing reinforcement, monitoring and adaptation, assessment, and it keep going on, right? So one of the very simple thing is that you have to give the security awareness training to all your employees. Now, let's just move ahead and talk about something different over there. On this one, we will be talking about your threat landscape analysis over here, which is like, navigating the evolving cyber frontier. So if we talk about the cybersecurity threat landscape, I would say this is the one thing that is constantly shifting, and every day there is new threat. If you have noticed, new attack, new malware, they keep emerging every day. So as a cybersecurity professional, understanding this ever-evolving cybersecurity threat landscape is very critical and important for your proactive defense. Okay, we need to be proactive over there, right? You need to be proactive over here. Why? We can't just simply keep waiting that if something happen, then we will do something, right? So we have to be proactive, that why we do let anything happen, we'll protect it in advance. So it is very important for us to be proactive in the cybersecurity field over there. Now, in this part we will be talking about the what are the how you'll be navigating through these threat landscape, how to keep yourself updated, what are the threat landscape and all. So when we talk about the threat landscape, so just imagine a vast and ever-changing terrain, which is, like if you have seen Dune, or you have read that particular novel, or if you have seen some of the movies and all. So if we talk about those, vast and ever-changing terrain, which is filled with potential dangers and obstacles. So there is, that is going to be this threat landscape as well. Means it is going to have an entire range of potential threat to my organization, its data, to its system. Okay, and these threat, it can originate it from different sources. They can originate it, so in the threat landscape, so my data could be attacked by different people, my system could be attacked by different people. And who are those are going to be your, first of all, cyber criminals. Okay, so who are the cyber criminals? Just like, we used to have, in some old movies, you have seen the different mafias, gangs. It is very similar to that, that you are having those cyber criminals, which is the individual or a group which is motivated by financial gain, which is targeting the sensitive data for ransom, and or resale on the black market. That, okay, we will steal your data, we will resell it. And those are the group who just want a monetary benefit from you, steal your data, breach your, username, password, all these things. Then there is going to be your hacktivist. Okay, so if you will see in this one, activist kind of a thing is hidden. So these are the individual or a group who have political or ideological agenda, which is aiming to disrupt operation or kind of defacing the website, right? Means they have a goal. Let's say that a very simple example I gave. Let's say that there are few people who believes that, your these energy companies are not good for the environment. So what they do, they just go ahead and they will be doing what? Let's say that, they start doing something like, your defacing the website of Shell. Okay, means these energy companies, although they are going, maybe this is good for the earth, but whatever they are going is not within the laws and not good thing. So that's why I'm saying the hackers, they are going to be the individual or group which will be having some ideological agenda, which will be, they'll be trying to disrupt the operation of particular company. They will be defacing our website, all those kind of things. Then there is state-sponsored hacker. Now, one thing I think most of the people will be familiar. Every country is, they want to be one step ahead of their, I would say, opponent or their arch enemy countries over there, right? They want to be a step ahead. Now, when they want to be a step ahead of those companies, or they're like, for Russia and US, they are going to be kind of an arch enemies. So same goes for the US and China as well. So what there are going to be is governments, they will be having the, government conducting cyber espionage or launching the cyber attack against some critical infrastructure. So when they will be having a specific group which is acting on behalf of a government, they will be called a state sponsored actors. And most dangerous things are going to be the insider. So someone who is already working in your company, let's say that one person did not get an enough bonus, they got angry and they start attacking their own company. So they are more dangerous because they know in and out that how your company they perform, they act, they have everything. So they are the one of the, diverse source of these threats over here. Now, when we talk about these things, these all sources and all, these are the threat landscape. Next thing is the different type of threats. Okay, so the threat landscape is going to be a diverse ecosystem, and these threats, they can come in the different forms itself. It could be a malware. Okay, malware is, if I will divide it, it is like your malicious software. Okay, so a malware is, it is designed, simple thing. It want to disrupt. Okay, it just simply want to go ahead, it want to disrupt, damage, or steal your data. That is the goal of it. That's it, nothing else, right? So these threats, the malware, it is a malicious software which is designed to disrupt, damage, or steal your data. It could be your virus, it could be your worms, it could be your ransomware, it could be your spyware, anything that is going to be out there. Then there is going to be the social engineering attacks. So social engineering is going to exploit human psychology to trick the individual into revealing the sensitive information or clicking onto the malicious links over there. So there are different example of social engineering like phishing, baiting, wishing, pretexting, piggybacking, tailgating, whaling, and number of the examples that are going to be over there, right? That is going to be the social engineering. Then, one of the thing here is going to be the phishing attack. So phishing attack, why I'm talking about this is because phishing attack is going to be the something like, sending one of the very commonly used thing from a long time of period of time. Like what? I will send you a message. Let's say that, okay, let's say that you have won a lottery of this much. Okay, or still now people do not believe such kind of a thing. So I do a bit of a research. I found out that you have a account with the American Express, or you have a credit card of the Amex. So I will say that, hi, I am the MD of the Amex, and on your card you have a pre-approved loan, but your card is getting expired by the end of the day, or I would say that today at the 5 p.m. your card will expire because you haven't completed your KYC. Uh, as a warning, we are updating or informing all of our client to update their KYC. Here is the link that you need to click and fill your KYC form. So if I will send you a mail like that, what will happen? You will get worried, and some people will start believing in that mail. They will click on that link, they will fill their KYC form, and all the detail will be sent to the attackers over there. So sometimes these kind of the information or things can be harmful for the people. So these are the phishing attack. Then there is going to be the something like the 0 day attack. Okay. So if we will talk about the 0 day attack, what is going to be the 0 day attack? You know, it is going to exploit, or it will be targeting the vulnerability in the software before a patch is available. So let's say that you recently launched an application, right? And now that app has a vulnerability, a flaw, a bug. Now, until you will fix that particular bug, it will be still activated. So, 0 day attack will be doing what? They will be taking advantage of those kind of a vulnerability or bugs which is not fixed yet, and disrupting your system, your organization at that part that is going to be over there. Not only that, the example in the availability which I was saying, that you are utilizing Amazon to order a $399 iPhone 15 Pro, and suddenly it become unavailable. So what is that? That is the example of denial of service, DOS attack. Right? It could be a distributed denial of service, another version, but this is the simple example that you might be utilizing over here. So we are going to have a DDoS attack over here as well, which is going to be in the part. Okay, so we have the DOS, we have the DDoS over here, right? So we have these kind of the attack. Not only these things, there are multiple things like very famous one here, supply chain attack, which is compromising. Like let's say very simple thing, you are going ahead and you're purchasing hardware laptops from one vendor. Someone infected that vendor and then infecting your hardware, your software, the product that you're purchasing over there. So people can do the supply chain attack. Then there are some technical attacks, which is like, your injection attacks, man in the middle attack. Man in the middle attack is like two people were talking, okay, and someone in between listening to the conversation. So similarly, you were exchanging the password with someone, and someone captured that particular password in between. That is the man in the middle attack. Okay, then if you have heard something like SQL injection, code injection attack, those are the some of the web-based attack that is going to happen over there, right? So these are the different threats that is going to be over there. And then why these things are important. So unless, very simple thing is, unless you will understand that how attack is going to happen, you are not going to go ahead and defend yourself. So by staying informed about the current threats, current threat or trends, you can go ahead and prevent the attack before it can happen. So by this, you can go ahead and you can prioritize your defense. You can allocate resource very effectively to address the most pressing threat that is there. So if I know I don't have any application, so web application, so I'm not going to focus on the web application threats. Okay, I know there is a threat for the Windows machine, but if my organization is using Linux, I'm not going to worry about the Linux or Windows threats, right? So you can prioritize your defense. You can identify vulnerability. What are the weakness in my system and infrastructure? We can develop mitigation strategies as well, which is going to implement appropriate countermeasure to defend against the potential attacks over there, and it will help us to stay ahead of the curve. So we can take proactive threat analysis, and this is going to help us to anticipate any new threat, and we can adapt our security posture accordingly over there. Now, question is how you will be keeping yourself updated about these threat landscape. So, that's why I asked you that how many of you have heard about that Log4j, okay, Apache-based vulnerability 2 years back. The reason being, I wanted to know how many of you are actually aware about this. So when we are talking about this, so you can go to the security news publication, you can subscribe to the reputable cybersecurity news source publication and stay updated on the latest threat and vulnerability. Now we'll be having, threat intelligence feed, a very simple thing. So if you have seen Alien Vault OTX, Alien Vault OTX. This is open source threat intelligence. This is the closed or proprietary threat intelligence. So two different things are going to be in there. So if you will see, I will enter as a guest. So I agree to term and condition and enter here. So this is a dashboard which will give you the all the threat intelligence attacks that is happen around all around the globe. It is going to give you the idea what is happening, how things are being run. So all the idea you will be getting into the world, that threats, the attacks, how they are happening, where they are happening. Okay, now as I was talking about this, this is the IBM X-Force Exchange, which can go ahead and talking about this threat intelligence. So it will talk about the report. It will give you the IOCs, indicator of compromises, different IOCs over there. That how if an attack is going on, what will be its indicator, its hash file, IP address, URL from where it is originated. It will give you the all the idea that what is going on and how things will be over there, right? So this is going to be the your IBM X-Force over here. I'm gonna go ahead and give this X-Force link over here. You can check it out for yourself. Although you will be not allowed to do a lot of thing in the IBM X-Force. Reason being, it is a proprietary solution, not an open source. On the second hand, you will be having things like the your Alien Vault OTX, and it will allow you to go ahead and have allow you to go ahead and exchange few more things. Now I'm logged in over here, and this is going to be the your particular alien vault where you can go ahead and IDEC all these kind of scenarios over there. So this is going to give you the idea that what are the current or the the threats that is going on into this world right now over there. And let me just go to the dashboard. Here you can select, like you will see, blocks. You can go ahead malware family, and here let's say that I want to know about the malware family of backdoor Win32, or here this will be the backdoor Win32. If I will click on this, you will see the all the related pulse over there. Okay, subscribe pulse. We know here Bellingcat malware investigation. It will open investigation. You will see different type of the files, hashes, all these things here, which will be giving you the intelligence. So this is what? This is the threat intelligence that is over here. Now, this threat intelligence is actually giving an organization the idea that what is going on, how things will be over there, what are the threats doing nowadays. And now you will be preparing yourself how you can protect yourself against these things. So you can go with these things and work with these resources, right? So you have all these options to go ahead and work with over here, right? You will protect yourself, you will go, you will work, you will read, and they will give you the idea how you can prevent it. There will be blogs, people talking about it. So from these threat intelligence feed plans, you can go ahead and work with the your resources properly over here, right? So more, this course CYSA will be talking about all these scenarios over here. Now, if we will go ahead and talk of, just go back to the PPTs. So there is going to be the your industry reports and conferences over here. So industries, different industries like your aviation, finance, all are going to be your give you the reports if they got attacked. They will be publishing the result that this happened and why this happened, who was behind it. Okay, that is going to be over there, right? So these things are going to be the part which you'll be looking different industries, their resources, their centers. Will be talking about these things. Now, when we are going to talk about these are the threat, how you can stay informed about the threat landscape. Now, next thing is going to be the best practices for cybersecurity. Next thing is that you have to go ahead and implement a lot of the best practices in your organization, like how the password should be. There should be the combination of small letters, capital letters, numbers, special characters, how frequently you can change your passwords. All these things you will be discussing over there. You will be having them as the policies. Multi-factor authentication, you can enforce MFA in your organization. You can go ahead and you can educate your users. So again, you can create a cybersecurity training awareness programs that you know what to do, how to do, and all these things. You will be empowering your employees to identify and avoid the cybersecurity threat. Train them on phishing scams, social engineering tactics, password hygiene best practices, and all. Apart from that, software update and patch management, you should be regularly following that all the official system, network, devices, software, they are properly updated, patched, and they are having no vulnerability as much as possible. Then at regular interval, your data backups are there so that, in case of any adversity, you can go ahead and grab your data back, get your data back. And last, a proper disaster recovery plan. So disaster, not always it is going to be the, you know, man-made threats. Sometimes it could be environmental threats as well, right? Earthquakes. There could be the tsunamis and the flood and different things, fire. So you have to prepare for them as well, right? So an organization must need to have a plan, just a recovery plan, which will let them know that how you should be going ahead and working with the day by day scenarios over there, right? And these are the best practices for the cyber security over there.